Welcome to another episode of Spiritually Powered Horsemanship, where Cindy and Laura, two very different women from two very different backgrounds, share how they are alchemizing hearts and horses for a deeper connection with life. One of our deepest intentions on this podcast is to keep it real, because in our horsemanship journeys, there's no black and white. Nothing is for sure, and anything can change at a given moment. So in that, we're always going to share with you our intention for an episode, but Cindy and I are pretty good at calling each other forward and exploring something out of left field when we see that that person needs that support. And we're going to take you along on that journey. So if it happens and we take a right turn and end up somewhere else, we trust that it was meant to be. As you listen to this episode, if you're finding yourself having an aha, a new awareness, or just really enjoying the conversation, please leave us a 5-star review on wherever you're listening to us. This is the best thing that you can do to help us get this podcast into the ears of more passionate horse people.
The next thing we were going to talk about is trailer loading. And we're not going to go super deep into this.
We're not going to teach you how to load the horse that doesn't want to load in this episode. We're going to teach you how we safely contain our horses for the ride.
What are some really helpful things that you have found? And I'll add in some of the really helpful things that I have found.
So Cindy and I have very different trailers, which is why you're going to get two perspectives. My trailer is unfortunately not good for the green horse because I can't lock my divider back because it's actually longer than the trailer when it's open and I can't close the door, which is a bad design. And 2 years after, Trails West made the trailer 2 feet longer to fix that problem, but I got a good deal on the cheap one. So my dad gets credit for this because I grew up around boats and he taught me always to stay out of the bite. Staying out of the bite means you make sure that you are never going to get caught between the boat and something that the boat could squish you against, and you're never going to get caught up in a line. So for you, that means you're never going to get caught in the trailer where the horse could squish you, and you're never going to get caught up in your horse's lead rope. So when I load my horse, she needs to come in all the way in and stand. Now I have to close the divider, which means I have to go into the trailer, but I make darn sure that she is settled and standing before I close that divider. But I also don't tie her because if she were to completely panic while tied, she would thrash and throw me into the side of the trailer and not be able to get out. But because she's still untied at this point, if she were to completely panic, she would just be out of the trailer and I would gather her up and bring her back in. So my procedure is in you go, and I wait until I am totally confident that she is settled. Her head is low. She usually takes a deep breath and there's just a whole relaxing of her body that happens. Like, okay, she's ready. And then I close the divider and I make so sure I rattle that divider and I make sure that it's closed, because the worst trailer wreck I ever saw was my friend was loading his horse. He had done a demo for a rescue that I volunteer at for the day where he was showing off the horses. So these horses weren't horses that had been trailered a lot. And he closed his divider, but it didn't latch. And we were at the fairgrounds and the raceway was starting up for the night. So it was really loud engines that just rumble in your soul, kicked off, and the horse panicked and he got smashed against the trailer, between the trailer and the divider, and the horse flipped over upside down in the trailer. It was a nightmare. So I make dang sure that my divider is latched and latched hard. And then I reach over and I pop her in her blocker tie. So at that point, she's tied, she's in, she's safe, the divider is closed, and I have done everything that I can do to keep myself out of the bite. If for any reason I had that divider halfway closed and she panicked because something happened, I would immediately squat down and that divider would go over my head. And that would be my best defense. If it was a true panic, is get down and get to the front of the trailer because the horse is going out and the divider is going over. I have never had to do that scuffle and I hope I never do, but it's in my mind if I had to.
It can be very dangerous. loading a horse.
Yeah. So what does your open stock trailer protocol look like?
I prefer stock trailers because I have yet to meet a horse that won't go in a stock trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And I have worked with tons of horses who do not like slant loads and do not like the divides, and because horses are claustrophobic by nature. And a trailer represents a cave to them, a dark, narrow, no way out scenario. So you are firing off all of their natural instincts that say there's nothing good about that. Or my stock trailer has the open slants on the side so they can look out. They get fresh air. I have friends who have trailers that totally close up airtight. Then they have those great little windows that come up and off, and the horse can jump out the window.
Every time I've ever put MJ in one of those, she's come out sweaty.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
My stock trailer I have used for 24 years. I absolutely love it. I have hauled numerous wild Mustangs in it. Wild Mustangs are so much easier to get in the trailer than a domestic horse sometimes. I use blocker ties ever since I lost my finger in a tying my horse to the side of my trailer episode. I did not get my finger in the loop of the rope, but everybody makes loops and sticks their fingers in them. Don't do that. My hand is small enough that it got sucked up into the cleat, the metal cleat on the side of the trailer. I put the rope through. My horse, bless his soul, pulled back and sucked my fist into that cleat and pulled my finger off. Because I teach rope safety, I'm very careful of that. And after that happened, I had 8 people on Facebook tell me they had the same thing happen to them. Their hands got sucked into that cleat. So be careful. I do not tie, I always have blocker ties with me. I have them in my trailer. I have them that clip onto the side of my trailer. I have them in my grooming bags so that I can put them wherever I tie my horse. They get tied with a blocker tie. I also teach my horses to stand tied, which means drop the rope and they know that they're ground tied is what it's called. But I load my horses. My approach to trailer loading is I'm a firm believer in groundwork. So in my groundwork, I set up scenarios where I drive them. I stand on one side of poles and I send them through those poles, disengage their hindquarters and send them back. I will drive them through gates and I will make them back out of the gates. So we do lots of going into tight areas and coming back out. I play with the trailer. Do not practice trailer loading when you've got to be somewhere in 45 minutes. So all of my horses, I back my trailer up to my round pen. I open up one of the panels and back my trailer in, and we play loading. So the way that I load my horses and I teach horses to be loaded is I do it as if I'm sending them out on the circle. So I stand next to the trailer. I have a 12-foot rope. I point into the trailer and then I drive them in with either the tail of the rope or a training stick. I stay outside of the trailer. They get in and they know to go put their nose in the corner. And if it's multiple horses, they know, put your nose in the corner, there's another one coming. Put your nose next to him, put your nose next to them, and then I will tie them in. It's not uncommon for me to load 2 horses at a time into my stock trailer by throwing the rope over their withers and asking them to load up, and then I go in and tie them to their blocker ties. I will not rush. I will not rush. So my horses go in and they stand. And then I tell them, come on, or get out or off. and they will turn and come and stand at the front at the end of the trailer and politely walk off, or I'll go in and turn them. I don't make my horses back out.
I don't make
Like,
MJ back out either.
yeah, I like to turn them around so that they are very confident where they're going. And if they've pooped in the trailer and you're making them back out, I can't tell you how many horses I have seen slip out of the trailer because they slipped in their poop. So I will take my horses, get them tied in, and I will walk to the end of the trailer and step out, and I will wait. I won't rush and shut the gate. I wait. I want them to know. When I open the trailer to take them off, I stand there and I wait. I have a golden rule. Hurry up and wait.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm riding my horse, when I stop and stand, hurry up and wait. Before I get on, hurry up and wait. I want my horses to be patient. So I I practice this when I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And I make it a game. And they've always got food in there. And I feed grass hay, but when I trailer, I feed mixed hay because the alfalfa creates a better matting in their stomach to fight those bile acids. So they know that in the trailer is alfalfa.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it is I everything I do with my horses is about the partnership and the relationship. It's not about what we're doing. So they are respectful and they're calm. I just helped one of my clients who was going to a horse show. She hadn't loaded her horses for a while. She gets nervous when she goes, which we all do. You know, you and I are both very experienced, and I have to get my butterflies to fly in formation many a mornings before I haul somewhere. Um, and she got him in, she tied him up, and he freaked out, pulled back, scared her, scared him. She didn't have a blocker tie. She had him hard tied. So another reason I like the blocker ties is because when they pull back hard enough, they will release themselves.
They will, but that's where I have to come in and say if that's happening and you're in the trailer, you have to get down. Let it
Get
go
down or
over.
get out.
Right.
Get down or get out. You know, let them sort it out.
Yes.
Not try and comfort them. Do not try and get your fingers in there.
Yep.
Get the hell out and let them sort it out.
Yep.
Because, yeah, I mean, oof, wrecks in the trailer. But so what we spent one of her lessons on was just loading them up. And she goes, I see people all the time. I've watched you at clinics. You're at the end of the day, you throw the rope over your horse's back and you point in the trailer and they get in and they stand and you'll stop and talk to somebody. And not me. I got to get them in. I got to tie them up and shut the door really quick. I don't want to be that person. So we spent a whole hour on it's no different than
Mm-hmm.
putting them out on the circle, sending them through the gate, let them get in there and wait, breathe, turn them around. All my horses, when I turn them around, I don't let them jump out of the trailer. We pause,
Yeah.
we take some deep breaths, and I'm like, okay, we've never been here before. So I'm giving my horse the opportunity to look at where they're at. But you know what I'm doing? I'm assessing the environment. Are there any kids in strollers? Is there any unruly horse? Is there any obstacles that are dangerous? I'm assessing while breathing, and my horse is going, okay, all right, this looks good. And then we politely get out together.
And I want to throw in because both Cindy and I said we let our horses come out head first, which I isn't normal in my world.
It's normal or not normal?
It's not normal in my world.
No, a lot of people, my trainer said my
They
horse
have to
has to
back
go
out.
in and go in straight and back out. And a lot of horses, I have a couple clients' horses who are not comfortable turning around and coming out straight. And I'm not going to force them because it's been so deeply ingrained to back out.
Back
But
out.
I watch, and I'm sure you do too. They take so many good steps and then they start going little baby steps,
Yes.
waiting, checking their footing. Oh God, I'm on that edge. Oh God, okay, okay, and slip off the edge.
Yes.
And then the other foot comes out. And to me, it's like,
And I let that get in my head. And I decided I'd always, because I got MJ with a stifle injury. And I was like, why would I have your stifle injury backing out of a trailer? And she came out front first beautifully. And then I let one of those conversations get in my head about how that's so dangerous to let your horse come out head first. And so I started making her back out. And once she panicked and blew out on me, and I was like, damn it, that never would have happened. And so then I had to fix it. I couldn't leave a horse that was going to panic and blow out. So I got her to the point where she would calmly walk back, but it was never confident. And I'm like, what am I doing? I have a horse that could have a catastrophic tendon injury in her hind end that could end her life. And I'm making her back out of the trailer. What the hell am I doing? And I immediately switched it back to, and she's so much happier.
and it is absolutely loading and offloading a horse is hazardous to their health in
Yeah.
many ways. If you're not on the right terrain and your horse has shoes on, their hind foot can slip underneath that trailer. And I have seen broken limbs and I have seen some gnarly abrasions. They're on loose gravel. If you're asking your horse to back out, like I said before, and they've shit in the trailer and it's juicy, they can slip. And again, that foot can go right underneath the trailer. They are trusting you. Horses, the hardest direction for horses to go is backwards.
Yep.
And they have to be able to turn their heads left and right because remember, their blind spot's directly behind them. Now, let me tell you why people say it's dangerous to let your horse turn around in the trailer and get out. Because they have been focused on getting the task done.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not focused on the partnership and the relationship, which is built on trust, connection, and communication. I
Worried that
love,
horse is going to blow out and take you out.
they are afraid to turn that horse around because if it hits its butt on any of those walls, it might freak and blow out. Or they've not taken the time to build the confidence in that horse that that horse can politely turn around and look. It wants to turn around and get the hell out. That is not the trailer's problem. It is a hole in your relationship with your horse. I love the wooden bridges that you see at obstacle courses.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my clients have them and I love them. You want to practice trailer loading. That's the thing to practice on. Drive it up onto the bridge and get it to stop and then back it off. Or what I love to do is get them to turn in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Move your hindquarters a couple steps. Good, stop. Bring your front feet forward a little bit. Don't step off the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Turn your hindquarters back over again a little bit. Stop. Now turn your front quarters over a little bit and bam, they're turned around and they're ready to get off the bridge. So that when I put them in that trailer and we're in a squeeze, but it's not as narrow as that bridge, getting my horse to turn with me and walk out politely. So people say turning your horse around in the trailer is dangerous because they do not have the relationship they need to have. That's my opinion.
And so you just outlined how to set it up perfectly. You do
Oh,
your bridge. You should be able to stop your horses mid-turn at any point on that bridge.
yes.
And once you can, you go to your play time with your trailer where you're not going anywhere. You should be able to stop your horse mid-turn at any point.
Yep.
And then you've got it.
Yep. And that's everything we do on the ground, this is another session, everything we do on the ground is preparing us for in the saddle or in situations. So the more that you practice talking to the front end and the back half, the front half, the back half, individually, not the whole horse, the deeper the communication goes. And then the more you can talk to individual feet, that's where the magic begins. And there's power in the pause.
Yep.
Take one step, wait. Take another step, wait. If you have that level of communication with your horse and connection with your horse and trust, there isn't anything you guys can't get yourself out of.
Yep.
And I think that is a perfect place to end.
I agree.
It's all about trust, connection, communication, proper preparation.
Yep. And awareness and feel.
Yep. So you guys have an amazing season.
Yeah.
With your horse. Practice safety. Just go have fun. And, you can always reach out to us if you want to learn more about what we've talked about. There's always in the podcast notes how to reach us. Yep. And we would love to answer any questions that you might have and any suggestions on podcasts you'd like to hear. Thank you for tuning in to this episode on our podcast. I want to remind you that we'll be here every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, following the golden rule. That's the plan, but we are always willing to be flexible. If you want to connect with either one of us, you can do so by finding me on Facebook, my Facebook group, Unbridled Reflections. And you can find Laura on Instagram. She's known as the Homestead Witch. The links to those contacts can be found in the show notes below.
Don't forget, if you learned something new today, had an aha, or walked away with a valuable nugget of awareness, you can say thanks by leaving us a review on whatever platform you're listening on.